Recently, in one of our video, we got a comment from Leo asking about how to crack bank directly from B.Tech. Well, every year, many graduates are selected by private banks from many companies. Graduating from mechanical engineering at NIT and then landing to Axis Bank as a deputy manager. Rikin Singh has done this task, and he will be explaining about his interview experience, the exact online assessment, and the multiple roles that company came from. And at the end, he will be also sharing about his exact resources and his technique to land this job, which will be helpful for your next destination.
I got selected in Axis Bank as a deputy manager in the risk branch. There were three branches that came in college. First is the risk, second is BIU, which is Business Intelligence Unit, and third is the DBAT. And so the company came, and I was selected after my resume shortlisting and one personal interview. So each of the person they got criteria of like which branch you want to select, risk, DBAT, or BIU. For people who are from BIU, which is basically a product management kind of role. Okay, it was related to banking and all, and in that BIU role, OT was involved, but in our role, OT was not involved. So basically, I guess DBAT and all, OT was not involved, but for BIU there was OT. So resume shortlisting, OT, and then interview for the BIU role. For us, which is for the risk branch, only resume shortlisting and simply just interview. That's it. And my interview, it went around for like maximum 10 to 15 minutes only. So I'll tell you the dynamics. First of all, if there is any company that comes in, okay, you have to first understand the JD. Okay, even if you have not done the project, put the project into it. For an example, I checked the job description for the risk deputy manager risk analyst. Okay, so in that I saw that we need to do modeling. Okay, specifically credit risk modeling. Okay, so before you actually apply to any kind of firm, okay, there were 2 or 3 of my friends. Okay, 3 people got selected in risk. First is me. Second is Aditya Raj. Okay, he's one of the guy. He has a really good CGPA. I was actually the one with a bad CGPA. Still, I got selected. I'll tell you the reason how even with a bad CGPA I got selected, and some one who I actually gave a bit of knowledge got selected as well. Okay, so the thing was first, yeah. So the thing was first is resume shortlisting. I saw in the JD that they have mentioned about credit risk modeling and everything. Now I am the guy who was actually already into finance and all. Okay, I had a bit of certification. I had good knowledge of finance, and I knew exactly that the person who got selected past year had this much POR. Okay, this POR, ESL POR or Profit POR, which is like a entrepreneurship club POR and a trading or any kind of finance club POR. Okay, if you have these kind of PR, make sure you put into these kind of banking firms. If any BFSI firms come in, you have to put these kinds of POR. Okay, so I put those PORs. Now I had an internship, kind of consultant type internship. Okay, and let's talk about the projects. Okay, these are one of the most important things because these projects will get you shortlisted. Okay, so the projects was, see, you need to show your Python skill, SQL skill, that is for sure, but you have to put a niche project specifically for that particular domain. And for that particular domain, the niche project that I could have done is credit risk modeling. Okay, so basically I just, if you don't have time, there is just 6 or 7 or 8 hours of time before you actually submit your resume shortlist resume. Okay, for shortlisting, you can't do the project, right? You have to actually find a YouTube video, okay, and take out 4 points from it so that you can directly put it in your resume and then do it later on. Got it? So what I did, I found any credit risk modeling project because I know if my resume is going to get shortlisted, it is going to get shortlisted from that project only. Okay, because it is actually closely resembling that JD, right? Now, credit risk modeling project I put, and the second thing which I did is, so see, I'll tell you what is the difference. So there were 3 guys, me with a low CG, another guy with again the same CG as mine, and another guy who was having a very high CG. Okay, so the chances of a person who's having a high CG is already very high, right? For them getting selected. Not only just I did the project, plus I also try to understand what is this credit risk modeling in detail. It is basic modeling and the ML that we use. We clean the data and then we actually go through the data. We do feature engineering, feature selection, and all those things. But with respect to credit risk, okay, so that I was able to understand some of the very important, data types, data that is actually involved in banking. Okay, so for like banking, there is different kind of data. Yeah, there is your credit score, your address, your salary, and all these kind of things. Okay, I got to understand about a lot of things in the credit risk modeling. Okay, what is informational value? Okay, all these things. So I'll tell you, because I put all of these things, my resume was shortlisted. And also I put the same things into I helped out to other people to actually put all these things so that they got shortlisted as well. Okay, so this was all about resume shortlisting. Put the nice projects, make sure you put the PORs or clubs which are actually related to banking. Okay, and that is it. From intern they didn't ask anything else, not much, and they were not bothered about intern from my side actually.
So when the 3D came, you basically manipulated that thing. You found out what is important, and then you have
Yes.
updated the resume.
Yes, I actually updated my resume, and then once I updated, I put the resume. That's it. And now I started doing that project so that I'm able to
Oh.
understand the project.
So not just
That is.
bluffed, but you have also like known what exactly that means, and then you have incorporated in your PI.
Yes, exactly. So it's better you put the project, but then learn it afterwards, because if in the interview they get to know, or maybe like you are not able to explain it, poses a very negative image of yourself.
Negative impact. Huh. Okay,
Yes, exactly.
fine, fine. So we'll now dive into the PI. So how was it like? What was the process flow and everything?
I was expecting my interview to go somewhere around 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but it ended in 12 minutes only. 12 or 15 minutes it ended. Okay, I thought I was not getting selected. So the first question they posed was, and this is going to be a very important question. You are in mechanical engine, and why you're pursuing career in maybe banking? What is the reason
Hmm.
behind it? Okay, so first of all, if any interviewer asks you this kind of question, just for me, like, you have to be prepared. You just tell them, I told them I'm only applying to BFSI firms, that is banking, financial, and the insurance kind of companies only. Okay? And
Hmm.
also, I was interested in finance. You can see the projects that I've done. You can see the PRs I have. You can see the certifications I have from the finance. Okay. So just, you don't just say it. You have to have the proof of it on your resume. Okay, I had
Yeah.
the certification, the PORs, and all those projects. Okay, this proved that yes, I was interested into finance. Now, as soon as I said that I was interested into finance, okay, now they asked a very easy question. Okay, oh well, first let's get clear with the mechanical engineering question. Why mechanical engineering still you are choosing a banking branch? So I said first is the interest, and the second is at my college level, at NITs or IITs, people don't take their courses that much seriously. Like if you are a mechanical, you
Yeah.
have to be in the core branch, right? You just
Hmm.
go there. You're present there because you want to actually connect with the people. Okay, that's it. The
Hmm.
branch is not important. The connection is important. So I explained these two kinds of reasons. So they were like pretty okay with this reason. Okay, yes, they were kind of amazed.
Hmm.
Now the second question they asked, because now you know about finance and all. Okay, they started asking me finance question. But if you're a guy who's into finance and who has read a lot of statements, okay, P&L statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statement, you just have to have good knowledge about all these things. Okay, they're going to
Hmm.
ask from that only, right? So these three statements, there are some statement like EBITDA, EBIT, and all these things. The little things they asked. Okay, and that I was
Hmm.
able to explain. They asked about what is the relationship between asset, liability, and debt. That I explained what is the relationship. Okay, now that went on. So this round went well, and then again they started to ask now from the modeling project. Okay, so
Hmm.
exactly my credit risk modeling project they picked on. Okay, that's what I wanted to do, wanted for them to do. Okay, because I have purposefully put the project so that they can ask question, because it is very much
Hmm.
relatable from them. And now in that project there were two specific words which anybody who's doing normal modeling will not be there. But if somebody who's understood about credit risk and all, okay, he would understand those two words. I don't remember the first word, but the second was word informational value. He asked me what is this
Okay.
information value. Okay, so I told them, because you have to understand, because if I would have just did the project, okay, and I would not have understood about the meaning and the proper those six playlists I watched in order to understand that particular concept deeply. I explained about the project, and then I tried to put everything, every word that was there in the job description to be there in my resume as well. Okay, and
Hmm.
I'll tell you where I went lucky actually is I do not know ML. Okay,
Hmm.
I didn't know ML. Like, I do know
Hmm.
basic that these kind of models are there, but I do not know them in detail, how to apply them, what is the mathematics behind them. Okay, there is one person, X person, who knew all these models and all. Okay,
Hmm.
and there is Y person who also knew this model. Suppose this X person had a kind of CG equal to me, which was very lower. Okay, it's like the base. So they had open criteria of 6 CGPA, and I had somewhere around 6.34. That's it. Okay, I didn't have much. Same X guy had that, and the Y guy, he's having a CG more than 8. So him
Hmm.
getting selected is very for sure. Okay, he's going to get selected anyway. He's having high CG and he's applying for the job, and I've helped him to put in actually all the projects. So definitely he has that profile. He got selected. The problem with the second guy is that uh, the question, whenever you're giving the interview for these kinds, make sure you do not actually let the interviewer go in some other direction. Okay, it should be very much focused on to this part only. Okay, if you try to explain that I do this, I do that, and they start asking question about that field which is not relatable to the job, you are going to be somewhat, in a bad condition. Okay, and the
Mm.
chances decrease. So second, they ask me about SQL, Python, and all these things. So here you need to play things. The thing is that SQL, Python, and all these things, I knew them. Okay, a bit. Okay, not in a very professional manner, but yeah, I knew the syntaxes of the Python. I knew SQL. I've done a couple of questions on SQL as well. Okay, and I just knew everything. Okay, not actually if I can solve a very hard question, but yeah, I knew everything. That's the matter. You should know everything. Okay, now they asked me how much do you actually know about SQL, Python, and data analysis. Okay, instead of choosing out of 10, they asked me to choose a number. I told them, if I tell them 9 out of 10, they're going to ask me very hard question. And if I tell them very low, maybe 5 or 6 out of 10, they're going to actually ask me, maybe presume that I just don't know anything. Okay, so I played smart. I just told them I'll tell myself 10.5 out of 10, because the reason is I do know syntaxes, I do know things, but it is very hard for me to remember the code exactly. Okay, but I do know the process, I do know the logic behind it, and now that's it. And upon asking them, they asked me very pretty easy questions. Okay, like very easy question in terms of SQL. They ask what is where clause, all those clauses. Okay, where clause, order by, all these things in SQL. And then in the Python, they also ask very simple things, list, dictionaries, differences. That is not a big deal, right? Because I guess in the very first part, I've already impressed them with my financial knowledge. So they were just checking if you just know this Python. Okay, Python and SQL. And I guess that was it. Like 8-10 minutes down the line, interview was over. He asked me that question. They're like, done, go. You can go now. And I thought, just in 10 minutes, how can they judge? Because the other interviews I gave was 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and got rejected. And this is just 10-minute interview.
So you said like they were asking the terms like EBITDA and P&L statements, those things. So like from
Yes.
where did you learn those basic? And for someone who is a very beginner, from where they can learn these things?
Okay. So I will say it's very easy. Okay. Just first put the resume that you know finance. Okay. Once you put it, now you need to understand what are the terms you need to understand. Okay. One way of trying to learn those terms are, you can go on screener.in and then you search about any random company. Okay. Maybe like search Tata Motors or any company. The whole sheet will open up. Okay. Screener.in. Okay. You can provide screener.in. So you go on the website, search a company, and then there will be a lot of financial data for that particular company that will be shown. EBITDA, IV, information, like non-information value. Okay. And enterprise value, sales, and all these things, cash flow from investing activity, financing activity. Okay. Operating activity. All these terms will be there. So what you just need to do, this is the bare minimum. Okay. Just simply just use ChatGPT, find what is profit and loss statement, what are the components in it, can you please explain the components of this particular thing. Okay, what is EBITDA, what is EBIT. So if you just understand the words which are present on that web page of that particular company, that is it. That is the enough financial knowledge that you can have. That is a basic thing, and definitely they are going to ask you only the basic things. That's it.
So like you said that you are in mechanical engineering and
Yes.
they even asked the question like you are in mechanical and you are interested in finance. So how? So such question they asked. Like, that was a part of like HR question itself. So one
Yes,
thing like
it was.
how. It was part
Yes.
of HR question itself. So the thing is like,
Yes.
how did you manage that time exactly? Like learning those finance thing and even the mechanical code as well. Like passing the subjects was also one of the tasks. Right? So how did you manage
Yes.
those things? Like,
Okay, so I will say it is not, see, if you consider my CG, right, it was not actually managing. So I was going into class, I was just understanding, that's it. I had a love for finance, and that's why I understood everything. Okay, if you talk about managing time, see, after classes, we get a lot of time. And when you love something, you don't need to actually find out time to actually
friendship.
do that thing. Okay, so eventually I was into some trading and finance, and I was trying to understand a lot of things. Okay, so it's not like in one go I understood. Slowly and steadily I was able to grab the knowledge. And also I'll tell you, I had two certifications from finance. When one is NISM 15, which is a research analyst. So it is like the way I told you that skin.in and all those things, it is like detail how do you actually analyze a company. Okay, what are the components that you know. So it was very detailed certification that I already had. And I also had equity derivative certification, which is not relatable to the job, but yeah, it just pumped the financial knowledge in me. So I was able to handle this way.
So what were the resources that you think are the most important for the companies like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank? They usually ask to students who they take it for. The important then
Okay, so
they should
basically,
know.
hmm, hmm. So what I would say the resources is you have to actually, it's not very fixed resource, right? It's very specific. For an example, if we talk about ICICI Bank interviews, right? So if they came for a manager kind of interview, okay. So they were picking people who were actually kind of blank page, okay, and they were smart
Hmm.
but with a blank page, okay. Like you should not be very fixed upon some other things, or otherwise they might not select you. For example, the people who got shortlisted in ICICI Bank, okay. So they had very normal kind of interest, like some had a photography interest, some had some other interest, okay. You have to be very specific about the profile. If it's
Hmm.
risk profile, put things according to that, search it what is actually being studied, and just study the layered part, okay. Don't go into
Hmm.
deep. When I was understanding and I got to know tomorrow is my PI or the day after tomorrow is my PI, I started. So first I put the project, understood about the project. That's it. Before my shortlist
Hmm.
came, I will not put my energy. Okay. Once the
Okay.
shortlist came and I know that tomorrow or day after tomorrow my interview is there and I have to be prepared. In that case, what I did is I just started to understand if I could find any source. So credit modeling as search, I found Mehul Mehta, 6 playlists were there. He explained in detail. So kudos to that. Okay. For him to
Hmm.
explain me that project. Okay. You have to find the things, but yeah, you can have financial knowledge. It is very plus for BFSI firms.
Hmm.
So that's it.